This is Golic and Wingo for Friday, February 21st.
Former Cowboys great and Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith says that Dak Prescott should consider giving Dallas a discount. Smith on the Left Go show with some surprising advice for Dak.
Instead of taking 35, would you take 28 and leave some for Amari and pick up the other 35 who endorsed?
If somebody said that to you while you were playing, would you as a kid be able to listen to that?
I practically did that.
Emmitt's asking Dak to do something he would not and did not do.
Emmitt, you are the biggest hypocrite in professional football. Shut the hell up.
That seems aggressive. Glad you're with us. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN2. On a, believe it or not, in late February, a football Friday. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic Jr., Trey Wingo here with you. Again, critical day in the NFL as the NFL player reps are going to vote today on the proposed CBA that was approved by the owners yesterday. And again, here's how it works. All 32 reps will be on the phone. They need 2/3 of the reps to say, yes, we believe this is a good enough deal to take forward to the rest of the players. And then the rest of the players, it's a simple majority. And if they have one more yay vote than nay vote, boom, we got a new deal. That simple.
Which would be amazing how quickly this came about.
It would be amazing.
We were talking to Darlington yesterday just how fast all of this seemed to come out of nowhere. And that's not just for us, but for our insiders, for the people that cover this and are pretty dialed in on this. This came out of nowhere, which probably, and I imagine when we talked to Jeff Saturday and Dominique Fox, would indicate kind of a red flag if they come in and they're all very agreed upon this. And we're like, hey, let's just get it done now. And,
right. Well, look, there has been, I heard Jeff earlier on SportsCenter, and he'll join us a little bit later, that, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes on this, but it does seem like it's rapidamente as opposed to the last time when it just dragged out forever. And our good friend Andrew Brandt had a great tweet that I put out, I retweeted yesterday. He said, if I'm the NFLPA, I'm concerned by how much the owners want to do this deal. Right? I mean, that's natural negotiations, right? We're not saying that's anything out of the ordinary. It's just like if one side is really, really saying, hey, this is good, let's get this done. Let's pump the brakes here and find out why you guys want this so much so fast.
Exactly. And it would indicate that, A, either that work behind the scenes has gotten them to a point where everyone might be comfortable
Certainly possible.
with this. But generally, we tend to look at, and from the outside, that's the natural reaction in all this, right?
Yes.
When it comes together too soon, we assume, all right, it's either too good to be true or it is. And if it drags on for a long time, we assume that there is real friction and that there are some issues, like core issues in this, that bring it to a place where they can't get agreed upon.
So, again, we'll have Jeff on with us a little bit later, and Dominique Foxworth, former NFLPA president. He'll be with us as well. I want to hear what they have to say because there's a lot of ambiguity in that fact sheet that's been put out there, and the devil is always going to be in the details. What some of that stuff means, I'm not sure. Hopefully they'll help us break that down a little bit. But if this thing goes through, and we are talking about potentially $5 billion shifting toward the player's side with the proposed increase in revenue, that means contracts are going up.
Big time.
And that means quarterback contracts are going up. So if you are a quarterback on if you're a starting quarterback that has proven to be a quarterback that can take your team to the playoffs and actually won a playoff game, this might be a really good CBA for you.
Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah. Nice entourage reference. Very nicely done. And one of those people that fits that bill that we're talking about is one Rain Dakota Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Again, the Jerry Joneses of the world might have messed this thing up for a while because he decided to pay the Jalen Smiths of the world, who, by the way, is a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's wonderful. We're happy he came back from the devastating injury. All that's
It's not just Jalen, though. It's Lyle Collins. It's Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
It's all of these contracts that you decided to lock up before your starting quarterback.
Before your franchise quarterback or the wide receiver you traded away a number one pick for. So now we have the issue of what should be done with Dak, because if this thing goes through, his price is going up. It's not going down. It's going up. And we had this yesterday for you. Where's the Emmitt Smith here? There it is. Okay. Emmitt Smith, Cowboy Hall of Famer, had this take on the Adam Lefkoe show.
The perspective may not be all the money that you get. It may be how much of the money you're willing to leave on the table, because the Cowboys is a marketable organization.
And so you got all that extra money.
So if you are the face of the franchise, would it not, instead of taking 35, would you take 28 and leave some for Amari and pick up the other 35 through endorsements?
Now, you've been on the Cowboys, so you know about that. If somebody said that to you while you were playing, and if, let's say, it was another Hall of Famer like yourself, would you as a kid be able to listen to that? Because it's nice to say from afar.
I practically did that.
Did you really?
I practically did that.
Tell me about that. I didn't know this.
I mean, in some cases, you leave money on the table. You don't get everything that you ask for.
Right.
I wanted $28 million when I had the whole lot. I wanted to be an $8-9 million back. I wanted 28 for like 3 to 4 years.
Okay. First of all, I have so much respect for Emmitt Smith. I believe his rushing record will never be touched. I think because of the way the game is played now, no one will ever rush for 18,000 yards.
Richard's a great guy, but
yeah, exactly. This makes no sense whatsoever because he didn't get close to $28 million in his deal. He wasn't going to be an $8-9 million back. We still don't have an we just barely crossed the threshold.
Correct.
In recent memory where we have an $8-9 million back. Emmitt Smith wanted to be the highest paid running back in the NFL when he went into the 93 season when the Cowboys had won Super Bowl 27. He wanted to be the highest paid running back so bad, he sat out not only the entire training camp and the entire preseason, but also missed the first 2 games of the regular season, in which the Cowboys went 0-2. And after the Cowboys lost those first 2 games, you know what Jerry Jones did? Got the deal done and made Emmitt Smith the highest paid running back in the NFL. He may be talking about a separate negotiation later on in his contract that I'm not aware of, but when push came to shove and he wanted to be the highest paid player, and there are quotes from that time where he said, it was important for me to be the highest paid running back. He wanted to get paid more than Thurman Thomas, and he got paid more than Thurman Thomas. So it seems a little disingenuous at best for him to be saying, Dak, take $7 million less.
It does, but the idea a lot of people ran with yesterday, and I saw it discussed. I saw Emmanuel Acho, one of our colleagues, say, and kind of equated to our world. Someone asked him, would you take a pay cut at ESPN?
Yeah.
So that more of your colleagues would say. And Acho said, I would take a marginal pay cut if we could keep more talent around here, because he likened it to we'd have a better chance of winning awards. It helped, rising tide lifts all ships, all these different things. And the discussion also broke out in the Will Cain show yesterday.
And here is something that Will had to say about Dak.
Emmitt's asking Dak to do something he would not and did not do. Almost nobody does what Emmitt is suggesting Dak should do. In fact, there's really one guy who's done that and done it consistently. And that's why we praise Tom Brady so much, because he has done something that nobody else does and nobody else asks others to do. Take less, give more to the team, win more in the long run. Brady is special, a unique competitor and winner who has made some of that money up by building a dynasty and cashing in on endorsements. Could Dak do the same thing? Yes, possibly. But be clear, we are asking him to do something that only the very special have done.
All right, so Dak has brought the energy to the Cowboys during his first 4 seasons. Energy is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy, now in 2 great extra-strength tropical tastes, strawberry, banana, and tropical burst. 5 Hour Energy. It is energy on the go.
I think Will's right, and he's not.
Yes, I would say that's accurate.
The Patriots are a special case in this. The idea of taking less for the future is something that people have often lauded Tom Brady for. The reason I disagree with this whole thing on a fundamental level is what you're asking someone to do when you say, take less so the organization can have more to spread around and try and give you a better team, is you're putting a lot of your future in the faith of other people.
Correct.
You work very hard as a player to make sure that you secure and control what you can control. That's all we're preached to, is control what you can control. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to give up money for you to basically write me an IOU in the future based off the success of all of us. Not just me, not the thing I can control, but all of us doing well.
Yeah.
And so in that, I say Tom Brady is not the special part. He is a great player, there's no doubt. The special part is the fact that the Patriots as an organization were able to do all that stuff, and we're able to do it over the long time period that they've done it. Like, that's the special portion. The fact that they were able to constantly reinvent around him with whatever extra money there was.
Listen, the only reason that works in New England is because there's a track record of I can go there and get a ring. Like, literally, you can say it somewhere else. It is more likely to happen in New England with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady there than anybody else. So that is such an outlier. You're right. Do you feel like if I give money back to Jerry Jones, then the Cowboys are suddenly going to win championships?
And again, what's your proof in the last 4 or 5 years on your rookie contract?
Yeah.
They've got that money to work with.
Correct.
What have they done with it in that time period? We just mentioned all of the things that they've done with it, which have included not paying you, Dak.
Exactly right.
Like, that's what's been included in all of this. And so I just look at that and say, fundamentally, yeah, altruism is something that sounds really nice and bubbly when we throw it out there like that. But at the end of the day, are you really comfortable in a sport this violent where the risk is so high
Dak,
of putting all of that in the hands of other people with your money going forward?
Dak, take all their money. Take all of it. That would be my advice. Coming up, an anniversary that really should be celebrated every year, but this year especially. We'll get to that next. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.